I think we just got to come back to this issue of, will it be cloned? Will it be hacked? Will it be banned? It's not going to be hacked. It hasn't been hacked. Will it be cloned? People cloned it thousands of times and they all failed, because once $1 trillion worth of money decides that it's going to put all of its money in this bank in cyberspace, they don't need the number two. It's like there's a Facebook, there's a Google, there's an Apple. It's a path dependent thing. Everybody's decided, $1 trillion of money and 100 million plus people, they've decided that Bitcoin is the bank in cyberspace. Once you've adopted that one protocol, then it has $1 trillion worth of energy behind it. Debating that is no different than saying, well, what if someone comes up with a better language than the English language? Can we get everybody in America to switch? What if I come up with a better standard railroad gauge than the standard 4-foot, 8.5-inch rail gauge? Can we get everybody to switch? What if I come up with something other than TCP/IP? People aren't switching from English or rail gauges or protocols or whatever, because there's so much economic inertia in the system. Like, what if we decided we wanted everybody to love, Buffy instead of Coke? Well, Coca-Cola is the world's biggest brand. Warren Buffett understands it. Buffa-Cola is not. And that's because if I destroy everything that Coca-Cola has done for 100 years, if I get rid of all the money, all the trucks, all the signs, all the inventory, everything, you still got to murder 5 billion people because they have in their head the idea that Coca-Cola means carbonated beverage I can drink safely, right? It's what's in the head. It's the brand. So Bitcoin is in the head of 100 million plus people as being money, but it's in the heads of billions of people as the safest, most standard form. And the protocol is built into 100 million plus people's lives and tens of thousands of companies. You can't get it out. So that's why copying it doesn't work. And then as for the banning, well, look, it's property. And in the Western world, in Western Europe and the United States, they allow you to own property. So it's a choice between Bitcoin and silver, or Bitcoin and gold, or Bitcoin and ETFs, or Bitcoin and other property. And it is, and it will be wrapped in AML KYC regulations, just like other properties you can buy. And that's what makes institutions comfortable owning large sums of it. But it won't be banned in the Western world because we have a tradition of respecting property rights, and it's already been normalized as property by the IRS, the SEC, the OCC, the CFTC, and other related agencies. I think that's really a critical thing. Some people will say, well, I heard it's banned in China or something. Well, actually, I'm not sure it's banned. It's hard to buy it, but in certain countries like China doesn't want you to get onto Google. That's banned. Facebook's banned. Twitter's banned. But that doesn't make Facebook, Twitter, or Google bad investments. So I wouldn't make my decisions based upon decisions that take place in China or India or Nigeria. I'd make my decisions based upon the prevailing view of the regulators and the society in the Western world. And I think that's come down very hard on one point. Bitcoin is property. Bitcoin is not currency. It is not a medium of exchange. The medium of exchange function is sitting with the fiat currencies, the euro and the dollar. The store of value function is migrated into property like gold, S&P 500 index, real estate, and Bitcoin and other sorts of things you can own. And I think that's a very stable, logical development for the society.
Will central banks cripple Bitcoin with their own incoming central bank digital currencies?
Yeah, I don't think so, because I think central bank currencies are in essence digital currencies as a medium of exchange.
Right.
they're probably more threatening to Visa and MasterCard and existing payment rails, right? Apple, Visa and MasterCard are payment rails. PayPal, Square, Apple Pay, Google Pay are all working in one shape or form with some of those other payment rails. If I had a digital currency, maybe I could move dollars around on a different network. Maybe I wouldn't keep my dollars in an existing bank. I would move them to the central bank. So stable coin or these digital currencies, they have an impact, but they're probably more threatening to conventional banking system because, when you buy a share of Apple stock or Tesla stock, you're buying it because you don't want to keep your money in cash. And so when the banks give you $1,800 of CBDC dollars, you're still going to make the decision, should I buy Tesla, GameStop, or Bitcoin? Nobody's going to keep it in CBDC dollars. I could keep it in dollars at JP Morgan. I can keep it in dollars at Apple Pay. I can keep it in dollars anywhere, but no one's storing their life savings in dollars. As a general rule, they're moving them either into ETFs, like ARK or S&P ETFs, or they're moving them into stocks, or they're moving them into cryptos because they know that they're going to lose value every year sitting in currencies, right? So the CBDC, the central bank digital currencies, they're not really threatening to Bitcoin any more than they'd be threatening to Google stock, right? They're simply another way to move money around. And what will happen? I don't think anything will happen fast because I think it'll take them 4 years to study it and figure out all the implications around AML, KYC. And I actually think that there are plenty of institutions, large banking and traditional finance institutions that'll be, concerned and want to slow it down to make sure that it doesn't impact their business.
For sure. And we're going to come back and wrap up very shortly with 3 or 4 kind of rapid fire questions on Bitcoin and crypto, but there's 2 questions I want to get to. I mentioned it before. Jonathan Bales, that reading his Twitter popped in my head. Michael, when you're doing something, there's only 24 hours in a day. That means you're probably giving up not doing something else. What stays and what goes? How do you prioritize?
Well, first of all, I'd say, just like with a portfolio, if I had $100 in the portfolio, every dollar that's not invested in Bitcoin is dilutive to your opportunity, and every dollar that's not beating the S&P is dilutive to your wealth. And so if you really want to maximize your opportunity, you want to move as much of your liquid capital as close to Bitcoin or the Bitcoin network as possible, because it is this monetary network that's going from $1 trillion, and presumably it could be worth 100 trillion or more, because the sum total of all money in the world is maybe $400 trillion worth of stocks, real estate, bonds, and the like. Half of that is looking for store value, and the other half honestly truly wants to be invested in stocks or bonds or real estate. We've lost price discovery in the financial universe. So the single most accretive way to use money or time is invest in Bitcoin, because you've got a once in a lifetime, once in 50 years, transformation where all of this $200 trillion of money sitting in analog fiat instruments is being encrypted and converted into a digital instrument, which is thermodynamically superior, right? That's the first observation. Time is money. Convert your money into Bitcoin or something as close to it as you can. And the second is time. Well, any time you're spending analyzing, it's like go to Venezuela, analyze every company, every piece of real estate, every bond index in Venezuela, and figure out which ones you want to invest in. And the answer, Angelo, is it's all a waste of time, right? Everything you're doing, if you're analyzing frequencies of a minute, a day, a week, a month, that's a waste of time. If I told you I know how it all ends, right? Once you know how it all ends, the only use of time is, how do I buy more Bitcoin? But take all your money, buy Bitcoin, then take all your time, figure out how to borrow more money to buy more Bitcoin, then take all your time and figure out what you can sell to buy Bitcoin. And if you absolutely love the thing that you don't want to sell it, Go mortgage your house and buy Bitcoin with it. And if you've got a business that you love because your family works for the business, it's in your family for 37 years, and you can't bear to sell it, mortgage it, finance it, and convert the proceeds into the hardest money on earth, which is Bitcoin. So what I would say is use all your time to acquire Bitcoin, finance entities and weaker currencies to buy Bitcoin, or educate yourself on why this makes sense if you're not sure. And then educate everybody around you. You know, if you're working for a company that's got $100 million in the treasury, you ought to convince the CEO and the board of directors to convert the treasury to Bitcoin. That's the most creative thing you can do. That'd be worth billions to them. It's like if you were to say to me, Mike, it's the year 2000, you're in Argentina. What's the best use of your time? The best use of my time is figure out how to get all of my money converted into dollars and get it out of Argentina because I'm going to lose 99.5% of the money if I don't. Nothing else matters.